Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The controversy continues with regard to the $75,000 The Flank tournament, which concluded last night. Team Scrappy, after all the respin cheese drama that went down when the teams were initially formed, takes down the victory as many expected them to after that occurred. Pred's team, though, that lost them in the finals, not so happy with the way things went down here, especially Pred's suggestion that his team was the #1 place legitimate team at this tournament. Remember to tweet your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all though, this is all the patch notes basically from yesterday. Quite a few things changed in the game. Cellium realised relatively quickly that the ARs rather too strong, the SMGs in general rather too weak. So few changes here. Now the Striker 9 actually got nerfed, I think Crone clarified in the replies, and you guys can see anyway in this. But regardless, the Holger is now nerfed. The Holger was the gun that was immediately GA'd from the AR category right as soon as the game started. Quite often what happens though is that it might have been nerfed considerably. It might now be, a viable weapon kind of equal to the MCW that's currently used. The reality is the pros often won't do anything. It will probably stay GA for time immemorial, even though it might not be too strong nowadays. Just how it tends to go because the pros have so much else to think about, and once they've banned something among their own rule set, it's quite rare they'll go back and test it. Although Envoy later today does suggest that actually there's some things they should consider to make the game better. The DG58 I'm pretty sure is one of the 3-round burst weapons. That's been nerfed as well, so maybe there's something in this. But the interesting part really was the Striker, because this was the weapon that was utilized a lot in the beta. It was like one of the dominant beta weapons, and they've buffed it quite considerably, so increased her maximum damage range, increased near-medium damage range. Like the maximum damage range is basically doubled by the way as well. So quite a few buffs on this, and there was a theory, would the Striker now be viable? I put together a class for it last night based on what Parasite said to use, and it's okay, definitely, but I don't think it's, I don't personally think that it's gonna be viable still in competitive. It reminded me using it a lot of the Razorback really from Black Ops 3. You guys might remember the Razorback was the dominant beta weapon, and then when the game came out it was nerfed, and then like over time maybe they buffed it a bit, I don't know, it became somewhat viable in public matches, but in competitive, if you use the Razorback, you were just kind of going to get fried, and it felt a little bit like that with the Striker. Like when I got into a gunfight up close against the rival, I was getting smoked, and then a long-range gunfight against the MCW, I was getting smoked. So I don't know if the Striker is going to be viable in competitive. I'm not convinced personally, but yeah, and tweet your thoughts on that in the comments below, because it's definitely a bit better now, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be good enough to compete with either of those two categories. Maybe there's a world in which there's one rival, one Striker, 2 MCWs. But for now, the meta is still going to be AR dominated, and that will likely continue for quite some time. And this is what Octane said, that, yeah, probably the pros won't rebalance things because that's just how it tends to go. So last night, Clay got a couple of hardpoint scrims in. We'll see how they did later on today. And then also the Zoomers tournament officially began. He's getting, well, he's getting a haircut, I think he says, yeah. And then he's going home tomorrow for the holidays, of course, because Thanksgiving coming up shortly, which is nice to see. But let's dive into this tourney drama. So if you missed yesterday's video, which I forgot to publish in time, so anyway, whatever, we got there at the end. Scrappy and Insight were initially paired with Vivid and Lins. They weren't so happy paired with Vivid and Lins, despite the fact that actually Vivid and Lins are right at the top of the breaking point ladder at the moment. Like, they're killing it in BPL, and Minnesota Rocker in general looking pretty good. However, Scrap and Insight, Scrap especially, was not so happy with this pairing, and he wanted a better pairing. So that's when all the controversy happened, and Scrappy and others as well. I'm pretty sure Illy, after they got teamed with a couple of guys, he came in, dropped a respin, and it didn't really work out for him. And to be fair, Scrappy's team that he got after hitting the respin, going for dropping the massive amount of gifted subs for Zuma, taking the respin, getting a teammate, it could have gone wrong, but as it worked out, they got HyDra and Kismet, arguably the best SMG duo in the game, and the ones that you most certainly wanted as it stands. So yeah, Scrap and Insight got paired with Vivid and Lins. He hit the respin, deposited that cash into Zuma's bank account, so I think it's going to go to charity now, because dropped all the gifted subs. They did the respin, a couple of other pros did the same thing, and Scrappy eventually got paired with the team that he probably really wanted, which was HyDra and Kiz. Now, of course, I didn't really mention yesterday, Scrappy and Kismet, bit of beef, right? I mean, okay, the World Championship, there was some beef. Now, I don't think this beef was ever, personal. It was, it's obviously World Championship, Grad Finals, always going to be kind of entertaining. So, it's not beef they couldn't get over, and let's be honest, right? If Drazah and aBeZy can drop all the beef that they had with regard to, Drazah's girlfriend and all this stuff over the last couple of years, I'm sure that Scrap and Kiz can put it behind them for one of these online tournaments tournament. Pretty funny fadeaway actually that Clay hits, because that was on his teammate Real, because they basically matched up against each other and played in this one. So a few screenshots to go through. Firstly, it was interesting because this team of Simp, aBeZy, Ghosty, Cammy looked like early doors being absolutely unstoppable. I mean, they were destroying everyone. They won this series. I think they 3-0'd this team. And just on the surface, this tournament, despite the controversy, was fantastic, right? I mean, Zoom and the guys put on a phenomenal job here. Awesome tournament. This, as I've said before, is like basically the best format you can get away with the way the CDL runs things. You can't have tournaments for money with the full teams, but you know, they can stream scrims. That's fine. But I guess because there's no money on the line, that's fine. I don't exactly know what that is, but you know, obviously we don't want the CDL to stop them streaming practice. They shouldn't be able to, and ideally the CDL would put on online tournaments like this with the actual full rosters, but given the circumstances, this is the best we can do, and it was an awesome job. Hardpoint search, no control, because control's a mess, and we'll see briefly on that as well later on today, and Hardpoint has its problems as well, no doubt. But, I mean, look, doesn't matter how bad the game is or how problematic it is, to watch competitive COD is always fun to watch, especially when you've got guys really putting, well, a massive amount of effort in. So these FaZe X Los Angeles Thieves guys were crushing. I mean, 250 to 64. They then went on to play their next series against the team that eventually made the finals, Sib, Shotzzy, Skyz, Pred. We'll get back to that in a second. They 100-point clubbed them here on the terminal hardpoint, but they did lose in Game 5. Lots of down-to-the-wire hardpoints in this one. Lots of, especially Game 5s, round 11s, all that good stuff. Just great to watch. And eventually, Pred's team take down these boys. They drop them down to losers. And then in losers, they get surprisingly crushed by Fame, Lucky, Estriel, and Vikul. They actually got bodied. I mean, yeah, aBeZy's face is kind of funny because in the previous screenshot, he goes from being absolutely buzzing. They've had a point club, these guys. And then in this one, he's like, how did this happen? They got 6-0 smoked on high-rise search and destroy. So I know people were joking around that ever since aBeZy lost that 1v1 to OpTic Jorge on this map, he's washed basically, which obviously isn't true, but still, I think people expected them to get deeper than they eventually did. There were some nice clips going down as well here, for example, from Kenny and Dashy, and everyone's always looking at the moment, who's the best players, you know, who's looking good in this game so far. We know the usual suspects. I think Kenny has especially been looking pretty good. I've been impressed by him. Dashy's been great. Simp as well has been really good. I mean, obviously, as kind of expected on a game with a bit more, maybe higher time to kill. Simp's going to be unbelievable. HyDra as well, though, because I don't think we'd seen much of HyDra so far in this game, although look, he's the MVP from last season for a reason. There's no doubt that he's going to be unbelievable. Scrap looks good as well, but because we don't see his POV, he doesn't stream, so we don't really get to see who's looking unbelievable. But yeah, HyDra was on fire last night, as you might well expect. So this team was making a run for it. I'll share a couple of clips here in a second as well, especially this one, which is Cellium versus Team Dashy. He gets the first kill. I don't think we see it on this clip, but then he gets the last 3 as well. And this is one of these clutches that you simply can't afford to lose, you know. It was 4-4 here on the terminal. Cellium's in a 1 versus 3. He gets 1 kill, and he just shoots with someone in the back here from Burger. And then, you know, they're in a 1 versus 2. And this is the thing when you're playing Cellium. It was up against, yeah, Kenny and JoeDeceives, the final 2 alive. The way that this is the scary thing when you play against Cellium is that, you know, it's Cellium. You know that he's probably going to, well, give it a good go to clutch it. And the tendency is to turtle up a little bit, right? Is to play a little bit more passive. And this is basically what they do. They decide, all right, let's just double snake over here by the bomb site, and Cellium just dives out, gets the first kill, sneaks through a gap, because when you play around here, there's like so many different areas he can come from. He can come from top AC, come from Skyz, come from the way he did, come from the bomb site itself, and then Kenny finds himself in a 1 versus 1, or maybe it was Kenny, I think it was Kenny, yeah, and ends up getting taken down. So this is the thing, when you play it in that way, you're asking for trouble, you know. I think if you're in a 1v2 against Cellium and you try not to lose the 1v2, that's when you get destroyed. Like, if you play against Cellium in a 1v2 and you decide, alright, so let's just duo up and hit him out or something, that's when you probably win it. Because that to me is like a prime example of the way to try not to play a 1v2 against Cellium, because he's going to take advantage of it. But in the end, it was Drazah's team that played against Pred, Shotzzy, Sib, and Skyz on the kind of like half OpTic, half New York team. That was the other team that was really considered to be potentially the God Squad for this tournament, in addition to the Scrap Kiz HyDra Insight team. So Drazah played against that roster. They then eventually went down. So from the losers bracket, it was Pred and Shotzzy's team that matched up against Scrappy and Insight's team going into the grand finals. And, well, I'll share a couple of clips here as it closes out.
When it's gone, bomb. One close to pushing you, midfielder.
1v3. 1v3.
This is what 1v4. He got the first kill technically. Oh,
Do you think he's
Oh.
gonna clutch this? Oh my god, he might.
he might.
got a
This is
minute.
doable.
This is
He's
MC
got nothing but
Burger.
time.
This is MC
He can
Burger
do
stuff.
it. He
I
can
mean,
do this.
I think MC's got to get out of here though.
Yeah,
In the
there's
sense
no
that
way
he's
they're
gonna lie down and
pushing
get
through
out of here.
Burger, bruh.
Yeah, they're not challenging him. Yep, perfect.
Deep liner.
All right, rip one out. MC's got to rip one right here, dude.
Look at that form. It's such
Holy
good form.
bro.
Wow. Oh, he hit him.
He hit him.
Very nice.
He's got to go
MC's
now.
got-
Gotta get
MC's
the
gotta go
bomb.
mid.
See,
He's
you
gotta
gotta
go-
get the
he's gotta get. He's
bomb.
gotta get mid and get under this guy AC. He's got to get under this guy AC and make it mixy, like now. Hey, he's taking too long, bro.
He's got to go, bro.
He's taking too long, bro. Kill him off the Eskies.
Oh my god.
What the?
Oh my.
Oh my god, he
my
clutched
God.
it.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Insane.
god, he clutched it, bro.
Insane. Insane.
They looking
Oh
at?
my
That guy's
god.
looking his back. Oh my god.
No.
Let's go.
Repeat this one here. One book. I get book. Help me one time.
Watch out time, watch out front, watch out front. Gone, baby. Come the f on.
Come on, bro.
Fucking stupid.
Bro, I'm just soaking, bro.
I like that. I like that, man. Come on, bro. F on. Shitty ass duo. Not New York, bro. That's a free 10 racks. Gamble to 300 for 10K. That's an investment plan right there. That's the investment, yo. That shows you always invest, bro. Always invest your money. Always invest your money, bro. It always pays out in the end. Let's go.
Some pretty unbelievable stuff from Scrappy's team, right? I mean, look, it wasn't massively unexpected. If we look at Scrap's team here, they started further up because I think they did probably a free-for-all to choose the seedings and stuff. So in the end, Scrappy's team was, they got a bit of a bye, but they went 3-1, 3-0, 3-2, and then, of course, the finals, they won 3-1 against, as it was going, Sib's team, basically. But yeah, the team that we expected after the respin cheese to kind of dominate the tournament is basically exactly what they did. And as Scrappy said, you know, I invested $300 and got a pretty good return from that $300, right? I mean, he's turned that into, I think, what did you say, 10K? Because I guess 75K, maybe 40K to the winning team, something like that. And another dub in the books here for Scrappy in this offseason. So what do you guys think about whether this was fair or not? Sure, look, Scrappy wasn't doing anything against the rules. At the end of the day, it was Zuma's tournament. He got to decide how things were going to go, and Scrappy just took advantage of the opportunity to respin and get the teammates that he really wanted at the end of the day. So, yeah, placed second for Pred, Shotzzy, Simp, and Skyz. Another team that was, you know, this team was formed straight off the rip and also looked like one of the big contenders, and, you know, quite possibly they would have won if Scrappy and Insight had been paired with Vivid and Lins, as was initially going to be the case. So, Pred actually did a tweet on this, which has since been deleted, but I definitely thought it was worth looking at. GG's to everyone we played. Shout out the flank. Hashtag one wheel spin squad. Because, you know, clearly the implication is here from Pred that, well, at least their team was a single spin. You know, they went one time. And look, obviously they got lucky to form a great team on that one time. There's always some RNG in play in these tournaments. But at the end of the day, that's how it usually is meant to work. When you give yourself another chance to get lucky by paying Zuma or the charity that he's going to give it to that cash in the gifted subs, which obviously the chat is going to agree to because they're going to get gifted subs, then it's where you run into some controversy. So yeah, you know, I think we expected after yesterday that Scrappy kind of had to win. You know, I know a lot of you guys were saying in the comments that after all this, after all the respin cheese and everything, if he didn't win, he'd be getting kind of clowned on. He did go on to win the tournament and take the money home, and that Pred maybe feels like kind of a bit of a moral victory here because, you know, at the end of the day, they were possibly the highest placed legitimate team, is maybe the way that Pred and those guys say it. But nonetheless, good practice for all of them, and it was great fun to watch from what I did get to see. Of course, a lot of it happened while I was asleep, but, you know, I got to catch some of the early matches and stuff. And yeah, Pred, Shotzzy. Obviously, there's been lots of criticism on Shotzzy lately for whatever reason. It's still early days. Shotzzy definitely does have a fair bit to learn and improve on, but I think he's doing well. Sib as well said it was some of the best practice they've really got so far in this title, so we'll see if that continues. There was also a couple of clips from Shotzzy's point of view. Here we are on sub base up against HyDra. Just completely 180 spins on the HyDra here, actually, which is, well, kind of insane, but then he did get taken down shortly after that fact as well. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.